the radar and dropping truth bombs on tyranny.
It's Liberty Now. Hello, all you lovely Liberty lovers. This is John Verd with a quick Liberty Minute. Actually, it's probably 6 or 7 minutes by the time we get to the end of this, but I wanted to share with you a clip from a video and a book that I read that I think everybody should read. It's called How Do You Kill 11 Million People? It's a quick read. You can read it in an hour or less, but it's extremely insightful, talking about the Holocaust and how Hitler was able to accomplish with his regime slaughtering so many people. And there's just a short segment of that clip. There's a longer video that goes with it, but I wanted to share that with you, and then also paste in a couple of examples, modern day, fast forwarding to the New Zealand government currently with Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. Anyway, I will let this speak for itself. Just have a quick listen. And if you have any questions for me or would like to comment, don't hesitate to email me at john@libertynow.com. Have a great day, guys.
Mothers and fathers held their voices, covered their eyes, and closed their ears. The vast majority of an educated population accepted their salaries and avoided the uncomfortable truth that lingered over them like a serpent waiting to strike. And when the Nazis came for their children, it was too late. An eyewitness stated,
"We heard stories of what was happening to the Jews, but we tried to distance ourselves from it because we felt, what could anyone do to stop it?"
Each Sunday morning, we could hear the train whistles blowing in the distance, then the wheels coming over the tracks.
We became disturbed when we heard cries coming from the train as it passed by. We realized that it was carrying Jews like cattle in the cars.
Week after week, the whistle would blow.
We dreaded to hear the sounds of those wheels because we knew that we would hear the cries of the Jews en route to death camp.
Their screams tormented us.
We knew the time the train was coming, and when we heard the whistle blow, we began singing hymns. By the time the train came past our church, we were singing at the top of our voices.
If we heard the screams, we sang more loudly, and soon we heard them no more.
with all we know now, does anyone believe that telling the truth will solve all a nation's problems? Of course not, but it is the beginning. In fact, speaking truth should be the least we require of our elected leaders. After all, what are our standards for being led? The most dangerous thing any nation faces is a citizenry capable of trusting a liar to lead them.
All right, when I came into work today, I get in about midday, of course, I saw my producer and she was hunched over a computer and I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Fact-checking." I said, "Fact-checking what?" The Prime Minister this morning with Mike Hosking. So this is what she found. The problem that is starting to emerge with the government. Officials and politicians tell us one thing, but other things are happening. The testing is happening. There's plenty of PPE. The quarantine is working well. And, you get a bit doubtful. So we thought she has already, Laura, awesome, has fact-checked some of the Prime Minister's interview from this morning. She did it this morning. So first this.
We have had over 20,000 people go through quarantine.
Okay, now this is a real simple one because since mandatory isolation came in on April the 10th, a total of 16,292 people entered the country, which is not 20,000. It's even a bit too much to round up to and was completely unnecessary. Don't say it if you can't back it up. Then there is this one.
A month ago, we had half the number of people coming in that we do now.
So far in June, the average daily number arriving, 347 per day. In May, the average was 180 per day, more than half the current number. So again, why bother? Then there was this one.
4,272 people in quarantine. So a large number, double what we had since last month.
4272, double what we have since last month. Is that right? Ian Lees Galloway, come on down.
Now, at the moment, we have around 3,200 places in total.
We have 3,200 places in total. The Prime Minister says 4,272. I've seen that number so many times, I know it off by heart. So which is the one? So again, if anything, the capacity has in fact increased by $1,000, like by magic. It's incredible. Now, all of this may seem pedantic, but details do matter. And I think this is a very important point. We are doing very well. 95% of the time. And this fight against COVID, we've got to do well 100% of the time, and we're all in this together, and just own it already.
And I will just reiterate again, this was an individual who had gone through managed isolation. We drum in that messaging around the dangers of COVID pretty diligently for a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda. We drum in that messaging around the dangers of COVID pretty diligently for a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda. For a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda.
Here's what I never could figure out. I would, watch documentaries or read books about relatively few Nazi guards loading thousands upon thousands of families onto rail cars going to death camps. And I always thought, how do you get them to do that? Yeah. I mean, why not, you look at them and think, why don't they rush them? Why don't they fight? Right. Why don't they run?
Right.
And when I found the answer, I thought, oh my gosh, because the question was, how do you kill 11 million people? You lie to them. And that was what it was. It was a policy of lies that brought Hitler into office in the first place. Sure. But it was a specific, written down policy of lies that allowed the Jewish people first, and then later other people, to be convinced as they got on the rail cars that they were fine. They thought they were going to factory jobs. Yeah. They thought their kids were going to school. In fact, they were told, fathers, keep your families together. We're going to be crowded, but it'll be a very short trip. And they literally loaded their own families on the rail cars. And so that's how you kill 11 million people.